before I get Mario Cristobal on here, I want to say this to you too. Saturday's games: Clemson, Georgia. You got Notre Dame A&M. Then on Sunday you have USC and LSU, and of course the game that I'm going to be looking at is Florida. We went up there to Gainesville and we played the Gators up there. We stopped a 25-game win streak, and this was in '86. We went up there. I think we had 13 sacks, and I think one of the things that are going to be different this year with this team is that I think the Canes have a good front seven. No, I'll take that back. I think they have a great front seven. And this is a book Jimmy Johnson sent me. You know what it said? Dan, it was a great run. Well, I think we're going to go on a run here. And I'm looking forward to this year. And I think the guy who's the caretaker of our program is a former Cane himself, national champion. He goes up to Gainesville. I wonder what that's going to be like for him, standing on the sidelines as the head coach instead of as a player. Let's bring in the head coach, Mario Cristobal of the Miami Hurricanes. How you doing, Coach?
Great to see you, brother. Doing well. How about yourself?
How's that going to be for you standing on the sidelines as the head coach of the Hurricanes instead of a player being up there in Gainesville?
Well, it's always the ultimate honor, right, to wear the orange and green U, and kind of like you wish you could still play, right? Moments like
Absolutely.
that bring a lot of memories, but obviously a tremendous honor and really eager to watch our guys and put all that hard work to good use.
Mario, has it been more difficult to build the culture back or build the roster back?
I think it's what we expected. I think when you study, every place has a different starting point. I know we've been able to visit on that at a couple different stops over the last several years, and the starting point at Miami, it was equally challenging, and the one that we look forward to, one that we never shied away from or ever took pause in reconstructing and in doing, and it's been a tremendous amount of progress in the last couple of years. And again, looking forward to taking another step, a big step this year.
Coach, I'd have to say this to you. Back in the day, we had three power programs, FSU, UF, and us. Now you have UCF, you have UCF, you have FAU, FIU, all that. Plus you have the influence of the Southeastern Conference coming down into Florida. It's a completely different world now. Plus you add NIL. It's more difficult to recruit today than it's been in the last 15 years, maybe even in the last 5 years. Is that fair?
I think it's all relative. I think it's always been difficult, and I think it's going to continue to get more and more difficult because the world is smaller, right? I mean, there are now planes, trains, and automobiles that go anywhere and everywhere, and you can access somebody's film with, the touch of a button. So access, both, from a video standpoint, information standpoint, and then from on-site, in-person, putting eyes on people, it's a lot more feasible, which gives you, again, just a broader area to recruit. And let's call it what it is, man. I mean, there's great football being played all over the country, and you can't shy away from getting away and going and evaluating players in different parts of the country because Miami's a melting pot of the world. So I think everybody fits in well down here.
Coach, how difficult has NIL made it when it comes to today's college football? I mean, there's no question now. I mean, kids are calling coaches now, and something that we never even thought about ever doing was, you're talking, there's money involved now, but how much of a dynamic has that made it a difficult thing, even bigger task on trying to get kids into your program? And like you said, it's not a Miami issue, it's a college football issue.
I think the offseason is a little bit more than a little bit different. I think once a roster is settled and you start camp, that kind of almost like disappears. Football's still football. I think more than anything, it's people trying to figure out where is this thing going? What are the parameters? What are the restrictions? What's allowable? I think that is probably the more difficult part to it. That's what adds to the dynamic of difficulty of it. But I mean, we approach it the exact same way. You know what? Find good people that want to work their butts off and do right by others and want to be elite. I mean, that's undefeated.
Coach, what do you like about this program so much that you go into Florida with great confidence that you're going to come out with the victory? I mean, it's a big game right out of the gate. It's something you and I were reared on. We played that game. That was our number one game of the year every year. I mean, I don't ever remember playing a Miami season down there where we didn't start out with the Gators. I mean, this is a big-time deal here. Feel comfortable going into this game? What makes you so comfortable and confident going into this game this weekend?
Well, I don't know if I'm ever comfortable doing anything until we play the game, But to the question of what I like best about this team, I love the fact that this team, they run at the work. They run at the work hard. They run to the challenges. There's no flinch as it relates to doing the hard labor, the intensive hours of film study, of the physicality of practice, and which means it's a group of guys that they want to improve. They want to get better. Haven't seen entitlement creep into the program. I haven't seen selfishness creep into it, and it's something that you always monitor, right, when you're putting together a team. But I think the best way to say it, we're really, really blessed to have an awesome group of young men that have worked their butts off. And you know what? Now it's time to go find out, how hard and how well all that work can translate over to the field on game day. So it's an exciting bunch of guys to be around. They really are. They're awesome people. So looking forward to watching these guys go to work.
Coach, a couple last questions. I know you're pinned for time because you're getting ready for this thing this weekend here, but going up to Gainesville there, man, that's going to be quite an environment. A game like that, I always felt, Coach, that when you played early, you knew kind of where you were coming out of that game. Very young back in the day when we got beat 28-3 by the Gators, we went on to win 11 games in a row. We won the national title because a coach figured out what we were, who we are. Games like this, you like playing these tough games at the beginning to find out kind of where you stand instead of kind of limping into a season?
I like playing them whenever they show up. I mean, you can analyze the schedule every single year, and every single year it's got its different components, right? I mean, we've had years, like you mentioned, where you start off and right away it's a nationally televised game, and sometimes maybe the schedule isn't, early on the opponents are a little bit different. So, I mean, either way, what you can guarantee, what going when you put your head down at night, is you're going to play against great teams that have great players. So your preparation should never, ever sway away from being nothing but your absolute best. So for us, we're ready to play ball.
Finally here, Cam Ward, best quarterback that Miami has had since Ken Dorsey, in my opinion. That's a position that we have not recruited well. You come in there or started bringing kids in. Now you get this kid to want to come. And boy, I'll tell you what, I'm a Heisman voter, and I'm pulling for this kid big time because I think he's going to be an impact football player on this team. Why do you like him so much, Coach? And what has he brought to the program since he's been there?
If Cam was here right now, he'd be just yelling at the screen going, I don't want to hear about awards and accolades. I just want to go play my best football and win. And that's what I like about him. That's what we all like about him.
Is that what attracted you to him? Is that this guy here knows where he is in the room and knows who he is now?
I think all the components. First, you got to see it. Can he play? And then once you see that on film, you identify a guy that's accurate, great presence, can run, can improvise, all that stuff. What's he made of in here? What's he got going up in there? And you want to talk about a guy that was raised right? That's what he is. He's just he plays, and I mentioned it a couple times before, he plays the quarterback position like a defensive player, like a linebacker, like a D tackle. He's just very aggressive. He's very alpha, and he really has no interest in getting praise. He just wants to go to work and get better.
Well, Coach, I'm going to leave you with this. There's nothing like killing those guys up there. And I'm talking for me now here. I mean, I can't wait to see this, man, because I think this is going to be the kickoff to where you're going to see this program get back on track where you want it to be and where you played and all the national titles that you won. So good luck this weekend, Coach. I'm really looking forward to this, man. You couldn't start with a better game to start this 24 season. Go get them.
Appreciate you, brother. Great to see you, man. Go Canes.
You bet. Go Canes, man. Appreciate it. Absolutely. Mario Cristobal, man. Head football coach of the Miami Hurricanes. I so look forward to this game. I'll tell you what, that guy has put his backbone, and boy, I'll tell you this, they also have spent the money. Okay? They spent the money.